Hey. How we doing, folks? Welcome to another LifterLMS Ask Us Anything call. My name is Kurt Von Onnen, and I'm here with Magic Emily Middleton. Emily, just tell us about the hat.
Oh, the hat. I'm wearing a Dick's hat. This is a burger place out of the Pacific Northwest, I think. It's similar to, like, if you're from the South, it's like the Varsity. It's just one of those drive-in diner kind of places.
Like a Whataburger.
Yeah, you just you just pull up, you pay $5-10, you get a burger, fries. It's like pay per item. It's like the LifterLMS add-on suite. Except there's no bundles. You just say like $3 for fries, $5 for a burger, 20 cents for tartar sauce, whatever it is.
If you go to In-N-Out, they have that secret menu, right? You're like, give me a double animal style, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Do they have a secret menu too?
No, there's no secret menu. It's all up front, and including the hats. They do seasonal things. It was glasses last year. This year, it's a hat. So
there was a burger place in Southern California. I want to call it Harbor Burger. I could be wrong. No, because it was on Harbor Street. So I think that's what it's called. I think it was called Harbor Burger. It was in Fullerton, California, and they had because I had been to In-N-Out enough. I went and I said, so what's your secret menu? And they started laying the goods down on me, bro. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm going to eat good today. Sweet tater French fries, bourbon glazes, jalapenos. It was off the charts good. And I got hooked on that place pretty bad. I took the family there a few times.
Nice.
I love a good burger. It's such simple food, but it's so good. All right, let's get to the main message that we open up with. I got it scrolling at the bottom today. If you are attending this call, it's more than about cheeseburgers. We are actually here to talk about LifterLMS and answer any questions that you might have about LifterLMS or using it within the WordPress space. And you can get 55% off today if you go to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift, lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. Bada boom, bada bing. Here we go. We're going to need your comments today. I'm just going to be blunt. I already see people coming in live. And if you're one of these, quiet onlookers, if you're one of these, nobody puts baby in a corner types, you got to come forward. You got to tell us who you are, where you're from. If you've got any questions, if you've had any obstacles using the platform, just speak up, put your comments in so we can address you. Normally we have some pre-submitted questions when we put out the notifications for these calls. And today we did not get any pre-submitted questions. So we are dependent upon you to give us the content for today's show, or you might force me to go into song. So let's see. We've got Barbara. Barbara says, hello from London, Ontario, Canada. Man, I don't know how cold it is up in Ontario right now, but I've got a friend in Manitoba, and they were sending me pictures of snow. So lots of snow. So I hope that you're doing well up there. Canada was my home away from home for a little while. I don't know if you know that, Emily, but I went up there quite a bit. I taught at Niagara Falls. I went north of Toronto into a place called Port Perry, kind of like in the woods. It was like in the woods without being in the woods. It was like the country, it's like open spaces. It was really nice up there. And then I used to go mountain biking at Whistler, and that's how I got addicted to mountain biking, because Whistler is just one of the most premier places in the whole world to go mountain biking. So, Barbara, welcome to the call. It's great to have you. We've got Mikael, right? How would you say that? I feel like I'm watching Die Hard.
Mikael. Yeah,
Mikael
it could be
Carlson.
Mikael, it could be Michael.
Yeah, Americans would say Michael, but I don't know. I think it's Mikael.
Yeah, probably.
You need to say it over a two-way radio. Yippee-ki-yay. He says it's Mikael. Awesome. Great to have you here.
Yeah.
All the way from Sweden. That's awesome. So he is probably sitting with an adult beverage by a fireplace right now, getting ready for bed. We are Mikael's bedtime story. Delphine's back with us again. She says, Good morning from Merritt, British Columbia. I assume BC is British Columbia up in Canada. Awesome to see you there. She says, out of curiosity, how can one enter certificate information in the user section of LifterLMS? So that would be a great one for you, Emily, to start queuing up a screen share so we could go over. And let's just be real. I'm going to be transparent. When a customer comes to me and says, "Oh, I want to put in a custom certificate with some custom fields," every time that happens to me, I just kind of clench up a little bit because I know I'm going to sit back in my chair for a little bit and just go, "Oh boy," because I want to get things to line up on the background image and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go through this a little bit with Emily, show you how to enter certificate information, but also maybe how to format a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And well, I wasn't done saying hi to everybody.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, we got to, Delphine, we'll get to you in a little bit with the screen share thing. We're going to figure out how we got more people coming to the live, which is awesome. I'm great to see people coming. No snow here and above freezing today. Barbara, I'm going to be seeing close to 57 degrees today in Kansas. So I'm super excited. We've got a little break here, Emily and I, between calls. And I'm actually thinking about either going for like a quick 25 minute run, or maybe working on the mountain bike and getting that ready for a ride in the afternoon. And then Julia is here from the UK. I've seen Julia on this call a few times recently. So Julia, I hope you're getting value out of the calls and you're making headway on your project, because you must be working on something at a pretty good pace. We see you quite a bit, so that's good. Delphine, we had 4 inches of very wet snow yesterday. Yeah, the problem with wet snow is it's so stinking heavy to shovel, and unless you got a lot of property, you probably don't have machines to help you. So it says it's now 0 and the snow is very slowly melting. Emily, do you know how cold 0 is in America?
I think it's 32.
You are so good for a young person. Look at that. You are breaking out your metric like nobody's business.
Isn't it? Yeah, like 0 Celsius is freezing for us, right? I think.
Yeah, we might have to look up what a rooibos is. But
rooibos tea. Yeah,
he's having a cup of rooibos.
Yeah, it's a tea. I had some of that a few days ago for the first time. It's nice. Like, is it South African? No, I guess it's in Sweden. It's all over the place. I think it's a South African tea. I don't know.
I like tea. I know I mention the adult beverages frequently, but I like a nice hot cup of tea sometimes. I'm not a big iced tea person. I like hot tea. I like a good stiff mug of Earl Grey.
Nice.
All right. So here's talk about timing. Bhavik jumps in and says, I want to know if there are certificates free in LifterLMS. Yes, certificates comes with LifterLMS. And because we had that request from Delphine to look into certificates, we're about to launch into a screen share on that, Bhavik. So why don't you stick around? Not only is it free and included in the core free plugin that you can get through the WordPress repository, but we're going to give you a quick screen share on some of the benefits of certificates and how it works. And Delphine says 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, that was the conversation. So I was just curious to see if Emily was on point there. When I used to be the trainer for Ducati North America, the motorcycle company. So all of the technical guides would come in metric. So it would say things like, the motorcycle has to be 80 degrees before this sensor comes online, or this has to be 115 degrees before this sensor goes offline or the fans come on. And I had to convert all that stuff for American technicians when I made their training material. So those are details that nobody really cares about. I think that catches us up on the good mornings and the how you doings. If you got any more good mornings or how you doings, go ahead and put them in the comments. Also, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put those questions or comments in the chat. We are about to go live on a screen share showing off some of the features and benefits of certificates for a couple of people in the chat currently. But I'm going to stress this again because it is painful to do these calls without content. So if you are watching this and you are signed in and you're live with us, do not hesitate to put a comment in that we can create a discussion off of. And if it's based on Lifter LMS, bonus. But if it's based on something else, I'm open to that too. So with that, Emily, if you would, let's pop out this screen share and start talking about certificates, features, benefits, and how it really works.
Yeah, totally. And was there a question for custom fields and certificates at some point?
It didn't say custom fields, right? But we could make an assumption that somebody watching this or the replay is going to want to put something custom on. But
yeah, totally. So for the Lifter LMS certificate system, if you go to engagements on the back end, you'll see certificates here. Certificate templates is this area, and then awarded certificates is right below it. Awarded certificates is going to be tied to an individual user. You can edit these. So if someone says, hey, I put the wrong name when I signed up for my account and I got a certificate under the wrong name, can you fix that? You can go to awarded certificates and edit it. But the certificates are usually going to be created when we head to the certificate template area and then add a new certificate template. And then we'll create an engagement for this to fire. So we'll say when a student completes a course, they'll get this certificate. So I'll say course complete, saving strategy. I have a course called saving strategy. So we'll put that there. So certificate of achievement, you can change the background image on this if you want to. So over on the right hand side, we should have an option on the certificate template settings. Where's our picture? Background image right at the top there. So we can change the background image to something in our media library. If we custom create something in Canva, Photoshop, get a certificate template offline. If we're scanning in a hard copy of a certificate and editing it, we can do that too. So the background image can be changed away from this custom gray item here, and then we can add a title. So I would say saving strategy, or maybe you completed presented to. And so there's a short code right here, user display name. And so this is one of those short codes that we can add to our LifterLMS website. We can add this anywhere. You can use like the first name short code on the front end of your website, maybe in the header to say, hi, first name, welcome to the website. So it'd be like, hey, Emily, welcome to the website, something like that. But we can also use them in certificates to say first name, last name. If instead of display name, I wanted to use the first name short code space, put the last name short code in, insert that one. So it'll be user first name, user last name. And if I publish that and view certificate template, it'll show me a preview. I'm logged in as Arthur Wells, so it adds my information in. It adds a current date short code. And so there's two types of codes on here, short codes and merge codes. They both work in a very similar way. So when I go back to my editor, you see both merge codes and short codes right there in the middle. Merge codes were the original ones that were available for certificates, because years back you could only use these merge codes. But now, I think in like 2022, somewhere around there, Lifter added all the short codes too. So there's a lot more options for what you can put in your certificate. And once we're happy with our certificate, we'll go to engagements, add new engagement. And then this is where we'll say saving strategy, course complete. We'll say when a student completes a course, which course, the saving strategy one, we're going to award a certificate. And the certificate we're going to award is the course complete saving strategy. Publish that, so when someone completes the course, they'll get that certificate, and then it will be in the awarded certificate section so we can edit it. But we could also use the certificates add-on alongside LifterLMS custom fields. That's an add-on in the Infinity bundle with LifterLMS, and when that add-on is installed on your website, we can add custom information to our LifterLMS forms. So when people sign up for a course, we can collect company name. That's probably the most popular one, company name or license number, something like that. So we have the last name, first name, password, and email. But if I were to also add, let me go to the plus button up here, custom user information. So we would say maybe let's do a text field, because it might include a license number, might include letters.
And Emily, for clarity's sake, I want to be really, really clear when we do this demo part. This is not the standard issue core LifterLMS plugin. Custom Fields is one of our advanced add-ons. It comes with the Infinity Bundle, and it's also available separately.
Yeah. You can find the Custom Fields add-on here, but it's also, like Kurt said, in the Infinity Bundle for unlimited websites.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
This picture reminded me of you, Kurt. This is something I made with AI last night. WP Fusion, creating a logo with AI. But so license number was the custom fields I added here. I'm going to set that to be required. So you have to have a license number in order to check out. I'll put it at the bottom. And then I'm going to change the meta key to license_number. And then I'm also going to change in the database the field name so it's easy for me to understand. If it's like text 8357, I'm not going to know what that is. So I like to correct this to make it easy in the database to see what it is. So we have a license number field. If we save this, and then if I register for a course,
you can do it.
Let's go to saving strategy. There it is at the top. I'm not enrolled in this. Let's see, enroll. So now license number should be on here. Yeah, so I'm already logged in, so it's not asking me for email password, but it will ask me for my license number. And let's just fill it out. So somebody has a license number. I'll do the Stripe test card buy now. And so with the custom fields add-on, I'll show you how this works with certificates in a second, but basically we had someone pay $500, add their license number, and then when we see their profile on the back end, we have license number available that we can see and edit this. But also a new feature will be available on certificates now that we've done that. So if I come back to my certificate template, what we were talking about with shortcodes, we can now use the license number as a shortcode. So instead of signed, we'll say license number. And instead of site title, delete that. We'll do a shortcode. And the shortcode I want to use is license number. That's automatically created when I have that custom field created. And then we'll save that. So then I can view what a certificate would look like. And so we can see what a license number would look like. So we collect custom information and display it on a certificate. So that's kind of an example of using custom field certificates and the features alongside each other.
That is sweet. The custom fields, it turns out, like when it first came out, I was like, yeah, that's interesting. And I kind of threw that in the back file cabinet in my mind, right? Like I was like, yeah, whatever. But having worked with so many clients, I'm seeing it more and more because they make the assumption that they need custom fields, right? Like I need to buy ACF or SCF or whatever it is you want to look for on the repository nowadays, to build out these complicated things. And the custom fields for Lifter is very purposeful. You can add the content to somebody's profile. It's exportable with a user's export for reporting. And then you can add that custom field to different areas of the site, mainly the certificate. So it's a really handy tool. So if you have the Infinity Bundle, great, you've already got it. If you haven't tried using it yet, maybe you're in a position to try it. Think about the other use cases. And I just want to be like, just throw caution to the wind and think of other use cases. For instance, in the power sports training field, it is like getting people to take training, like that whole what's in it for me mentality, right? To get people to take training is a pain in the butt. So Suzuki used to send students jackets when they would complete their training, right? And so one of the fields we would have to collect would be, what size jacket would you wear? So, part of the user information was name, address, phone number, what dealership they worked at, but also what size jacket they would get upon completion of the course. So custom fields is just that, completely custom. So you want to open your mind up to figure out, well, how could I use this really cool tool and what makes this an advantage over, say, something like in Kajabi or Podia or something else, right? Like we all know that you can make your training and your courses and kind of slap them anywhere on the internet right now. So what's the benefit of using LifterLMS? Well, it's in WordPress, so it's super flexible. You have ownership of it, right? Because it's open source. It's all like WordPress is based in open source environments. And then the flexibility to be able to do the things that you really want to do, to really get creative, you can do. Which is a sidetrack from my normal message. My normal message is keep things simple and launch your minimal viable product. That's normally my message. But oh, look at that. We're having a problem going to Twitter. Let's just remove that. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing a little housekeeping here in StreamYard. But my big thing is, as your needs develop, LifterLMS is really good at filling those gaps in needs. So that's that. That's all I really had to say.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Very true.
All right. My screen seems to be locked up trying to remove us from Twitter. So let's just get rid of that. And it says we're having some kind of error streaming to X. And then it said remove. And then I tried to remove. And then it just locked up and stared at me. So let's try to forget that it's staring at me. If there's more questions about certificates, please put them in the comments. We have a habit, Emily and myself, of making some assumptions. Like we assume people understand or know certain things about working in WordPress or something. So if we missed a basic, if we missed something, and you still have a question about certificates, put that question in so we can cover the gap. But in the meantime, Mikael brought us a question. Do you want to do? This is an interesting one because it comes up a lot. I have two main questions, right? For my new LMS setup, I will start building during the holidays. I'll keep you in my prayers, Miguel. So it says, what are your 2 cents regarding domain setup for a main LMS and a content-heavy portal that complement each other? Should the content site be on the main domain and the LMS on a sub, or the other way around? Reason for question is to get the best use of Fluent CRM together and ease of cache setup. This is a can of worms, Miguel. You can set it up any way that you really want. And for people to have a better idea of what he's talking about, he's saying, look, I want to do LifterLMS with the Infinity Bundle and SkyPilot, WooCommerce with the subscriptions plugin, Fluent CRM, support and booking. I would almost think that you were speaking to a friend of mine, Mikael. This is a very common setup that I use. And then open content portal, another theme for magazine style content. Maybe that can be cached. I'm going to walk you back about 7 or 8 years ago, Mikael. The Mañana No Mas website used to be set up this way. I used to have lms.mañananomas, and that was for the learning management system. And then I had mañananomas.com, which at the time, I wasn't running like a full-fledged agency at the time. I was really just kind of like creating a ton of content, and I ran it like a newspaper or a magazine layout. So I really love that website. To be honest with you, I kind of miss that website. As far as being like a content creator and someone that used to like to write and blog and and I traveled the world at the time. I was in Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Japan, America, so in America, Florida, Chicago, New York. I was in all these places, and I love to go to restaurants and write articles, and the content I thought was fun. I really, really like that setup. So I don't want you to think that I'm poo-pooing on your deal. As I got more involved in doing agency type work and working with more and more customers and clients, I really started to like the idea of everything in one website. The caching, if you have a decent host, the host is going to be able to say, okay, anything that's a dynamically generated page, we're not gonna cache. Like we're not going to cache WooCommerce pages, we're not going to cache LifterLMS pages, and we're just going to cache the static stuff, right? So if you have a strong enough, healthy enough hosting plan, with enough resources, and you can put everything on one URL, for me, that is not only the simpler setup, but I think it's the better setup. It created a lot less complication of like tags and interactions between the two domains, because people don't realize, like a subdomain, it's like literally it's like two websites using a same root, right? And so any kind of updates and stuff you would make in your main domain, you would also have to make in your subdomain. You'd have to babysit them, connect things for your Fluent CRM. You'd have to have an integration that kind of connected the two for activities and for access, right? So that whole single sign-on thing becomes an issue. Like, do you want people to have to sign into the LMS and then just see the other content for free? Or do you want people to actually sign into both websites? In which case, you kind of want there to be like an automatic, like if you're signed into the main site, you're automatically signed into the LMS. And you might not have thought that far ahead yet because it's a new project. But if you get 100 users in this place, that's going to be one of the questions coming up 6 months, 9 months from now. And then you'll be like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. So for me, and again, there's 19 different ways to shell this out and still be correct. For me personally, I prefer keeping everything on one domain and just having really good, strong hosting to support the project. Emily,
Yeah.
you do it some other ways, don't you?
Um,
And like, I use WP Fusion and I just link everything together.
yeah, it's like I do store a lot of information like in the CRM. I guess like having Fluent CRM in a separate subdomain is something I've seen done before, and like WP Fusion actually does that for their own CRM, and it's easy to do. It allows you to optimize those resources best as possible. But if you're starting out from scratch, I don't really see a reason to do that. It just makes things too complicated. But if you're trying to scale with performance ease, then I see it as a value.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. It's a difficult question because it seems so rudimentary in its approach, but when you think about the details downstream, it can stack up on you. The thing I want to point out is the tools that you have mentioned, Mikael, are not lightweight tools, right? Like you're talking about a full-fledged CRM, you're talking about a feature-packed learning management system, and you're packing WooCommerce as a fully capable shopping cart on top of that. And so this website is not going to do well on some kind of like Bluehost, Hostinger, SiteGround, kind of environment. It's going to need a fairly robust hosting situation, probably in the $35 to $55 a month range, if I'm thinking in American terms. So just trying to prep you in those ways. So if you're into like a really good package on Cloudways or WP Tonic or 20i or one of those, I think that you would have success. And those names I just mentioned, you would have pretty decent control over your caching. So that background fear of the caching being the issue, that would kind of dissipate because you would have more control over that. Whereas, and I'm just going to toss a couple names out, not to try and scorch anybody, I'm just being real. Looking at our support tickets and how we deal with folks, Insta, WP Engine. Again, I mentioned some of the more budget oriented hosts. Those are pretty aggressive in their caching policies. And so with those, I would be a little gun shy with the caching question. But the ones that I mentioned, and I forgot to mention WP Rocket. No, Rocket.net. Rocket.net! That's what it is. Rocket.net! The guys over at Rocket.net are great. Ben and his whole team are really great. They pride themselves on super fast hosting at an affordable rate. And if you were to develop this into like an agency thing of your own, they've got a good agency program as well. So I'm not here to be a commercial for everybody. That's why I threw out as many names as I could. Like I didn't want to show favoritism. I just wanted to give you some options. So he says, I'm with you. I'd rather have it all on the same site. Just worried about the caching. Yeah. And he says he has a good hosting plan. I'm sure, of course I worry because the last guy we talked to in Europe, you remember when he said, hey, where's your hosting from? And he says, I'm not sure. It was a sign on the side of the road, but it's been really good so far.
Yeah. He like got it from down the street. I know there was someone who came to our office hours for a while who had a really good, well-hosted site, and they were hosting with someone that was local.
Yeah. And we were like, who's your host? He was like, I forget their name. It was a sign on the side of the road. Like, oh my goodness. All right. Delphine has a follow-up here. And she says, I would like to keep a record of all certificates. Well, that's not a problem because LifterLMS stores all the awarded certificates. But the rest of your question is going to lead us in a different conversation. It says, so I can use that information to generate an email to remind people to renew their certificates. Where does the information get stored, and what variable would you use to access using engagements to generate that email? Well, herein lies a little bit of complexity in your question, Delphine. Keeping a record of the certificates, not a problem. It's all there. And normal people like you and I, we would look at that data and go, oh, well, that data is there. We should be able to make something happen out of that data. But realistically, LifterLMS comes equipped for what we call transactional email, not marketing email. So it's triggered by an event. It's triggered by this course is completed, so this message goes out. The messaging that comes supplied with LifterLMS doesn't really have the ability to work on a calendar or a timing thing. So there's nothing in LifterLMS that's going to say this certificate was given out 11 months and 15 days ago, so we're going to give a 15-day notice for recertification. Like, there's no engagement for that. The great news, though, is that LifterLMS does integrate with many CRM tools, and CRMs are what you use for marketing style emails. We were just talking to Mikael about Fluent CRM, which is one of my favorites. And so what I've done for, there was a website in Oregon about driver safety, and they had to recertify their people every 2 years. So literally what I started was a automation in Fluent CRM that said, when the student finishes this course, they get a congratulations for finishing the course, and they're emailed their certificate. And then there is a pause for, I think it was 18 months. And we gave them a 6-month notification for recertification. And then we gave them a 3-month notification for recertification. And then a 30-day, a 15-day, and I think a 3-day, and then an expiration notification, like you are no longer certified. And so that whole thing was set up on an automation with timers and custom emails. So it was like timer, send a custom email, timer, send a custom email, timer, send a custom email. And then we could use the short codes to kind of put in like what that information was. Like if you have multiple courses, you want to dynamically inset like what that course is or whatever. And so that's the way that we had set that up. The CRM setup was fairly simple. But of course it adds a layer of expense and complexity if you don't currently have a CRM that you use. I hope that's a good enough answer.
Yeah, no, it's totally great. I'd recommend, if you are using a CRM, to go through that. But if you don't have one, then Lifter emails can work. It's just can be a little bit awkward and relies on the website infrastructure. So hosting's really important, and hosting changes can affect that. So having a CRM for recertification is usually better.
And realistically, if your project grows, you're going to be using a CRM anyway to communicate with your users and stuff. So whatever your CRM tool is, just look at its capability and can you build an automation that does what you're looking to do? I mean, we integrate with things like MailChimp, like boom, right? We have a MailChimp integration, Fluent CRM. If you have Fluent CRM Pro, the integration is automatic. You install Lifter, you install Fluent CRM Pro, and boom, you're connected. It's just that easy. Groundhog has a direct integration with Lifter. Active Campaign, I've seen people do a ton with that. And then even if we don't have a direct integration, there's going to be a Zapier connection or a WP Fusion or an Automator WP or a something that's going to connect your existing CRM to LifterLMS so you can affect those types of messagings. Now what are we going to do?
Now it's probably time for singing.
Oh, I had 2 people on my list on Facebook have birthdays today. And you know what I do? I sent them messenger messages with singing happy birthday to them. That's the thing I do. I was thinking, and this has come up You probably get tired of hearing this from me, Emily, but just today alone in our support tickets, I got which plan do we need to use SCORM files? And so I see that come in and I go, okay, what is Kashia talking about here? And so then I looked and it said, hello, we're trying to use LifterLMS with GrassBlade, but we're having issues with purchasing GrassBlade. Is there another API that you'd recommend? And this is one of the hard parts about doing what you and I do, Emily, just being blunt, right? It's like we need to know everything about everything, or we need to pull that back, right? Because we don't, right? Neither one of us do. So then it's like we need to know just enough to be dangerous about everything. And I'll tell you, GrassBlade, it's a great product. Dealing with Next Solutions can be a trifling little kind of a obstacle. The last time I tried to buy Next Solutions for a client, because they only offer one license at a time per site, their staging rules are very strict. So sometimes clients end up buying the product more than once if they have a staging site, because the staging rules with them are pretty strict depending on how your host is set up. And so the last time I tried to purchase, I ran through the same thing. It would not go through. Like, I could not get a credit card to go through. I couldn't make the purchase. It was very, very frustrating with their payment gateway. I sent them a message through support because I had to have the product. And then they sent me a separate payment link. They said, oh, yeah, you're in the United States. Maybe you need to use this Stripe link instead. And then, of course, it went through lickety split. I got the license and I set up the website. So this is one of those things where when you're interacting with these different vendors, different suppliers, and remember that we're in a global community. Like, we're not everybody's coming to you from Chicago, right? So we're in a global community, and people's payment gateways or VAT taxation rules or their wonky Elementor websites with WooCommerce embedded in them are doing weird things. So when you come up against an obstacle, don't be quick to give up. Hit them on the support link, look for other options, and find a way to make it come true. Because chances are they've got a workaround in place if they've got some kind of a brick wall somewhere. In this situation, it worked out really well for us. I was able to get the customer done and make it happen. Now, that said, if you want to run SCORM in WordPress, there's 25, 30 different ways to do it. I've tried half of them, and the one that is the most reliable, the most direct, the simplest to track, the best to connect through for a learning record store, so far in all of my searches, is GrassBlade. So even though dealing with Next Solutions can be a little bit of an obstacle, the product is really solid. So I constantly refer people back to that. And when people ask me for other options, I kind of tell them to let their fingers do the walking and do some research. But in that research, they will probably drive back to GrassBlade. The other thing with SCORM, and I don't know that a lot of people recognize this, Emily, so I just want to say it so that it's recorded and it gets replayed. You don't necessarily need to have, a SCORM player and an LRS attached to your site, depending on your use case. See, Articulate, Captivate, Rise, some of these other course authoring tools, they can make SCORM packages and export them, as playable web files. So, for instance, let's say you're working with a LifterLMS package, right? And so you're using the course and lesson structure. And so you have a course, and then you have 5 lessons within a course, and each of those lessons was developed in SCORM, but you don't want to pay, an extra $700 a year to GrassBlade to run the SCORM and the reporting for your website, because that LRS is like $400 a year. So you're like, I don't want to pay all that. I just want to offer this stuff. Well, export the content as a playable web file, right? And then embed that content directly into the page using a standard, custom HTML embed code, and that content will play in your site. If it's the knowledge check that was holding you back, use LifterLMS quizzes for the knowledge check. So then you've got the playable SCORM content that is working on your website, and then you have the knowledge checks happening through the Lifter quiz thing, which is standard. So everything's automatically going to be in the reporting section of Lifter LMS. This works great for people that have access to their course authoring tool. A lot of people I deal with didn't make their own content. So they're stuck because they're going, well, I don't have the root files. I didn't make this content. Well, if that's the case, yeah, you've got a deeper obstacle than that. But if you have access to those root folders and you can re-export that content and export it as a web playable file, then you've got something that you can use. But this SCORM stuff comes up all the time. Like I said, I had 2 of them in support just this morning, Emily. So I just wanted to come across that.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I am now working with someone who does SCORM content within WordPress, and they're not necessarily looking for reporting on this stuff. They have LifterLMS infrastructure in place for the quizzing and progression settings. So it's really easy to add SCORM, assuming you're not looking for that reporting, but then higher levels are available for those who are. That's how I look at it. But,
Julia says she sent a question. So she must have sent it after I looked. Now I got to go back. Hold on. She's like, I sent a question. That's weird. I'm not seeing it. Unless it's the one that says, I'd like to add a second blog. My blog is currently my recipes, and I'd like to add lifestyle blog topics. But I thought we handled that one last week. Maybe she signed off the call. I don't know. But let's put it in here. Let's see what we've got. It was about using social plugin for discussions in community. And well, we can certainly cover that, Julia. Julia says her question was about using a social plugin for discussions and community. Any broad brush thoughts and considerations? I'm going to go with the obvious one, Julia, and that is LifterLMS's social learning. The social learning tool with Lifter is a great entry point to turn your website into more of a community type website. It gives discussion areas for each course or product. So each course or membership that the user is enrolled in, and it gives each user a profile page, and there is a membership directory page that you can choose to either use or hide. And we bring this up every time, so I don't think we're being critical. But Emily's pointed out multiple times that everyone that's enrolled in the website gets a profile, and everybody gets added to the membership directory page. And so in some cases, people might not want to be advertised on a membership directory and have strangers reach out to them. So in some cases, we'll have users or creators actually not use that page. They'll leave that in the background, and they'll let people promote themselves through their profiles and their discussion groups. What do you think about that, Emily? Did I cover you?
yeah, no, that's totally covered. And if you want to see a screen share of any of that, we could absolutely dive into it.
Yeah, we could do that. Delphine gave us a follow-up. This is fun because now we've got 16 minutes left to the call, and we've got people coming into the comments, which is great. But Delphine says, but can I use the course expiration? It's already been generated. So why can't I do a similar process with certificates? Help me.
If I can do using course expiry, it's already been generated. Is this a follow-up based on the certificate question? Like,
I think it's based on automatic messaging based on course expiration.
There's not an option for automatic messages based on course expiry. If we go to the background, I don't think there is. Let's see. So add new engagement, create an account, purchase account, roles in course, purchase course, complete section, complete quiz, fails quiz, complete section, course track, enrolls in membership, purchase membership, creates new form. Yeah, so there's not one for like a course expiration. That would have to be something through a CRM for the course expiry.
Yeah. Caught me off guard with that one because I was like, I didn't think there was.
But like Kurt said, you could do once they complete the course, send a notification in 2 years. But you are then locked into the LifterLMS notification system for 2 years because it happens in the background. Um, Delphine says in chat, I've created an automated email for course expiry. Very simple. I'm not sure how. Was that through a CRM, custom code?
In Lifter, you could say, send this email when the course is completed, delay 364 days.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You can delay that 364 days, but then if you wanted to change that later, in a CRM, you could simply change the automation and then keep track of who's in the automation, but you can't change the LifterLMS notifications at that point. So if it's like 6 months in and you're changing your system or something, you modify web hosting, it can interrupt those notification emails.
Well, and I'm going to go one step further, more technical than maybe we should on this call. But one of the reasons I'm fond of using CRM tools over any kind of transactional email system in the website is WordPress is not known to be terribly reliable as far as its cron setup goes. And so then we get into a conversation about, do you want to use an external cron setup for your transactional website setup? Or would it be better just to have that SMTP server, SMTP setup, external cron set up through your CRM? And then you could just kind of have an argument with yourself and figure out what suits your use case best.
Right.
I don't know. For the social stuff, I'm going back to Julia's thing in my mind. I have a few Buddy Boss websites left that are still kicking. Buddy Boss is a very capable social plugin. And then Fluent Community just released, I think publicly last month or 6 weeks ago or something. I was part of the beta program on that. So I've had about 6 or 7 months to play with Fluent Community, and I've got a test product that I've been playing with it on, and I like it. I kind of like Fluent Community better, and here's why. When you use Buddy Boss is more capable, has more tools, has more bling, has more stuff. But in order to really take advantage of Buddy Boss, you need to use the Buddy Boss Pro and the Buddy Boss theme. And then that theme kind of locks you in. Now you're stuck with Buddy Boss styling throughout your website. And if you've put a lot of work into a look and feel of your message and presentation, and you've kind of got ownership of that, like you feel like, no, this is an outward expression of our company's messaging, then making that commitment to go with Buddy Boss can be a real blow. Like some people, I run into this a lot. People go, oh, I want all this cool function. And then you install it. And then they go, oh, what happened to our really cool this and really cool that? Well, that really cool stuff's gone, because now you're on someone else's theme and, basically a appearance package to get the functionality of the extra menus and stuff like that. So when I talk to someone that has an established product, I'm a little more bent towards Fluent Community, because Fluent Community gives you some pretty robust community features like a groups ability and some other things like that, discussion area, groups and all that stuff, forums. But it doesn't take over the styling of your website. It still allows you to style the balance of your website your way.
Yeah. No, that one's pretty good. I've been getting into Fluent Community a little bit, and it looks a lot like Buddy Boss. So if you just want that isolated community component, that's there.
Yeah, Mikael is asking me to put the LifterLMS Infinity Bundle office hours link in the chat. Not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm going to give you one, Mikael. And I'm not known for checking my email right before calls, so this is a real gift. This is a blessing for you. You can email me at Kurt, K-U-R-T, @lifterlms.com, and I can reply back to you with the link. I can't put that link up publicly. It's a Zoom call, and this call used to be a Zoom call until about a year and a half ago, because we were getting Zoom bombed like crazy. So, yeah, I'm not going to put the private Zoom link out on a public forum. But if you email me, I can reply to you with that with that Zoom link, and we'll see you in office hours.
Yeah.
You might
Office
need more
hours?
than tea by that hour.
No, I will. I'm like exhausted. If you can bring me some rooibos tea, 2 office hours, that would be cool.
Maybe I'll have to make some. Maybe I'll make some Earl Grey, and I can join you guys for a cup of tea on the office hours call.
Yeah.
I do. I love the smell of Earl Grey tea. It's so nice. My son likes Constant Comet. Have you had Constant Comet?
No, I'm totally unfamiliar with that.
It's a black tea that has like orange in it. So it's kind of like an orange spiced tea. It's kind of like a chai, kind of. I say chai now. Everyone's gonna get mad at me. I'm not a real connoisseur of tea, but it's like got that. It's that end of the tea box, like it's kind of got a sharper taste. But my son loves it, and the smell of that is adorable as well. That orange, that essence of orange is really good. Rudy says he's down for some Earl Grey too. Maybe what we need to do is have a tea themed call next week, because next week is going to be just after Christmas. That's going to be the 26th. Barbara DeWitt says thanks and have a great day. Barbara, are you leaving us? Barbara's like, I can't last another 8 minutes if these fools are going to talk about tea. All right. Big fan. I do need to go back to one of our earlier things, and that is, as we're getting ready to close out this call today, I just want to bring it all the way back around, full circle. And if you're on this call, or if you're seeing the replay and you're interested in LifterLMS, we still have a 55% off coupon that is available to you at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift/AMA-gift. So I don't want people to miss out on that. Sometimes we talk about things and you get excited and you go right to the link and you start making a purchase. We would much rather give you the 55% off up front than have you remember it 24 hours later and email us later. So use the lifterlms.com/AMA-gift and allow us to pay it forward for you in that capacity. That would be awesome. All right. I think we've got a couple of more comments down here. What do we see? Delphine says, why not have a tea party? Orange Pico with homegrown fresh honey. Delphine, before I moved to Kansas, I lived in Southern California, and there was a farmer's market in Corona, California, where this guy had the most amazing honey. He had wildflower honey, orange honey, sage honey, all these cool honeys, because he lived on a mountain and could segment where his bees were and stuff. And it was phenomenal. It was such a cool place. And then I moved to Kansas, and now honey is just sweet, sticky stuff. Mikhail, it's going to take me a little bit to get off this call and then prep for next week's call, but I'll get to that email and send you a link before we go live, so you'll get that. And where's the office hours happening today at 1? Okay, this time zone question with the office hours is killing me. It's at 2 o'clock Central. It's at 3 o'clock Eastern. So that would put it at noon PST. Noon PST. So I get a lot of messages and support about people that regret missing the office hours call because of how time zones work. And if you're in Arizona, you're on your own. You're on your own. I never know what time it is in Arizona. Rudy says, me too. Me too. All right. We did have something to announce. I don't know if that it was on social. It was on social. So it's legit. I'll find a post for it. That's what I'll do. And then we'll share the post real quick. Let's try Facebook. Let's try the Facebook LifterLMS. I'm talking about the custom coupon thing. Advanced coupons.
Oh yeah, the advanced coupons. You can get it for free.
Yeah. So that is, it just says advanced coupons there. It doesn't say anything fancy. It's because I'm not sure how to get it. Let's see. Well, because there was an email that was sent out. Let me see if I can find the email that Chris had sent. Because I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth. You know what I mean? I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Do you remember what day that went out?
No, I don't. I could find the Slack message though. Let's see. Home marketing.
Yeah. Now I've created a dead air situation. I apologize, everybody.
We're sending an email giving away. So December 17th would have been the date. So I have the link. And so here, do you want the coupon code for that? It's a coupon code. I put it in private chat.
Oh.
That's the...
Can we share that here?
I guess. I think it was like an email list building thing. To get new people on the list. So people here are probably already on the list, but if you're not, we've been talking about it already, so you can get a free year of coupons with that. Let me put it in the public chat.
Yeah.
Free year coupons. So this is valid through December 31st. Free year of just the advanced coupons add-on. And it's you do have to enter your credit card information, but you can cancel it in your account. So that's available for free year coupons. So if you want to try URL coupons, if you want to try geolocation for coupons, if you want to, what else does advanced coupons do? Let me figure it out. If we go to orders coupons, let's see. I do have advanced coupons installed, so we can do coupon URLs. Give people a URL to head right to a purchase page. Great way to make deals. You can track a little bit of analytics and see sales generated, but you can also restrict based on demographics, minimum and maximum checkout amounts. So this is available advanced coupons. You can get it for free for the next 2 weeks with that coupon right there.
Nice. Well, I feel like we rounded out pretty nice there. Delphine says no. Wildflower honey. It was so good. I used to get the orange flavored stuff, and not for nothing, but I really like it. Some people call it an old fashioned, but it was like honey, lemon juice, and bourbon over ice shaken. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Such a good beverage. Such a wonderful beverage. All right. I think that puts us at the top of the hour, Emily. I think we're going to call this one done. Folks, I want to thank people that came, that commented, that participated, that had questions, because without you, this call would be really strange. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and end the stream. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful holiday if we don't see you. And if we see you in office hours, we'll see you in just about an hour.